So you know how I received a video of kids having sex. I showed it to you, even if I deleted it. And I was thinking we talk about parenting in that aspect
Uh,
because to me I think that all goes down to nature of parenting, availability of parents, and and anyway, first give me your view on it.
right. When I saw that video, I was so upset. You remember?
Yeah,
Uh, the reason why I was seriously and very much upset was because I am a parent, and kids are what we brought into this world. And the reason for us to do it is to replenish our future, replenish our lineage, replenish our when we're gone.
yeah,
That's one of the reasons why the Bible said we should reproduce to replace us when we're gone. But kids, in that aspect, was a shock because kids cannot reproduce now. Children of that age 8 years old, they don't know what reproduction is. They are
yeah. So
not.
because in the Bible, sex was meant for people who were married.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
and the reason for that was to reproduce. And if we are having children at 11, 8, 9, starting to have sex, there's a problem because these things have just started happening now. They never used to happen. Maybe they used to happen, but because we didn't record them more oftenly, so we don't know whether they were happening or not. We know that there was sexual abuse, like child abuse, where adults molest children, but I've never heard of something like kids having sex on their own and having to record themselves without an adult probably forcing them to record themselves. I don't know.
Well, it's a disgusting information and issue in the world now. Uh, Kid, if you look at the rule of law in any world, that if you're not 18, you don't smoke, you don't have sex, you don't buy cigarettes, you don't do anything. There's a reason for that. The reason is your brain is not mature to handle any situation or any hardship, any trouble in the world. You got to be that age where if you ask any doctor the reason for that, they'll say because your brain has not fully matured to handle the trouble of life. So a child, if you're not up to 18, naturally speaking, if you're 12 years old, you are able to reproduce. But you can't handle the situation of reproduction or having a children until you are 18 years old because your brain is not mature to handle the hardship, the torture, the trouble of life. So that's why everything in life, they said you should be 18 years old before you get started. A child under 18 years of age going to that is disaster. Number one, if you are a boy of 12, you won't be able to handle a child, or you won't be able because you are a child yourself. You can't mature any little a child because you're not matured. So a child can afford to go for sex. If a girl or a boy can go afford to go to sex because automatically you're gonna produce a child. So it's a disaster in your life, not to your family, to yourself entirely.
Yeah, but a child will not understand that at
Yeah,
that age.
yeah,
Anyway,
that's
so we are now looking at parenting,
right. Yeah,
not just the child making the decision, because for them they will do what they think they need to do or they've seen other people doing. But what are parents doing
right,
about things like this?
right. In that case, it depends on your parental upbringing. If you have an abused mother or abused father, you kind of carry on from there. If you think as a child, if my dad does this, I think it's normal because it's my child, it's my dad. He brought me into the world. If my mom does this, it's normal.
Yeah,
So
but do you think
kids pick
they
up
do
from
it because they see their parents? To me, I think this video originated from Uganda,
right.
and I think with today parents, most of the working, most of the parents are both working. You get it?
Mm.
So the kids are left most of the time with house help, with house girls, and then the ones that are not at home, they're at school. When they come back home for holidays, because the time they have is very short at home, most of the time they are with the house girls as well, so the parents are always working. And when the parents are put, you have kids, God gave you kids to parent them, nurture them, teach them the ways of the world, you get it, equip them how they'll be able to continue with life without you, you get it. So if you're a parent, you're not in a child's life from the very beginning, because that's what I see. I think it's a loophole. You may agree with me or not, but I think it's a loophole whereby parents are leaving their jobs of parenting to house girls, house helps, to teachers. So basically, some parents, it is teachers and house helps who are parenting their kids. Mothers are no longer there in homes to know what's going on with their parents. Parents are always out of the house. They only come to eat, go to sleep, and basically the circle is just like that. So kids see less and less of their parents, and then the parents are not able to identify the wrongs in the kid. You won't be able to see what's happening with your kid if you're never there, would you?
Not really. I think you make a very reasonable point there. Most homes are now, especially mom and dad, are now too busy to take care or teach their kids. The Bible said, "Bring up a child the way he or she should go, and once she's grown, she will stand by it." The experience of a father and mother to teach their children is no more there. If you bring a housemaid into your home, uh, and she or he hasn't got the experience of probably from her upbringing that standard that you want your children to be, if she hasn't got that, she won't be able to impact anything on them, and they will get what or follow her ways. But it's not your way as a mother and as father that the kids will follow. Those are the more reasons why homes in most country are in trouble. Number two, in bringing that into a subject, you can have this question in your head: why did you two parent not at home? There is always a reason why they are not at home. Probably they haven't. Poverty will come in here. If I can afford a roof over my two kids by sitting down at home as a mother, we have no option. You need a roof over your head. You need food to be on the table. Most parents are forced to go out and look for the money to sustain this home by employing somebody who they pay a little bit of money just to take care of that situation at home. And poverty is one of the factors that creates that as well. And not only that, many parents never sat down to think about the future of parenting before they went into it. If you're a young man or a young woman, before you say, okay, I need a child in this world, I want to have a baby, do you consider the consequence of having a baby in front of you on table before you go into it? Some people say they do it they got pregnant by mistake, because what I've seen, women suffer more with kids than men. I have to be honest because I'm a parent myself. I know how it does. It happens. Woman, if you want to have a child, sit down, do the calculation in front of you. This man I'm going to sleep with. This whatever you call sexual enjoyment of a child is going to come into it. Is this young man going to stay with me? Has this man decided to settle down for me? Because it's you who will carry the baby, not the man. The man will just jump to the street. So if you don't think about that and you jump into it because you think that man is whatever pleasure he is giving to you, you are going to suffer. And not only you who's going through that hell, when the child is there, the child is going to go through hell. Imagine you being brought up to this world without your mom and dad sitting down around you. How will you feel? The impact is so much in kids because they suffer the most. Where's mommy? Where is daddy? So would you want your child to be in that position? Just put yourself aside. You are an adult now. You can handle any trouble of life. Do you think that so many problem in families now is because people didn't sit down and say, look, this is me. This is a child I'm bringing. Are you ready to go all this length with me? So that creates a lot of tension at home as well because the people get pregnant without a plan of the future of the child coming into this world. Or without taking that this person I'm doing this, well, is he ready for this? So when you do that, you have problem at home. The upbringing is going to depend on you. And you go through hell of trying to look for money to buy them nappies, then buy the food, to put a roof over your head and head. Probably the gentleman, if there are good ones out there, who say, for better, for worse, I have a child now, I need to be with it. Both of you have to work together for the betterment of the child, not only you. So it's advisable that if you're going to be a parent, don't do it randomly. Don't jump into it. We need to sit down and think about it. That's my opinion about it.
Yeah, I get it. What you I get your point.
Right.
What you're driving at, and life happens.
Yeah,
and
it
then,
does. It does.
And then people end up being parents, unplanned parents, and then they have to get on with it. But then, if you didn't plan to be a parent, or
Yeah.
you planned, and then
It
you
happens.
saw or put on your WhatsApp and you see a video of your child doing that,
Right. This is
you'll be devastated. And I don't think any parent would want to see themselves
no.
in such a situation, leave alone you seeing it, but all your peers and relatives seeing it, and that means that kid or those kids' lives are ruined there. That is the end of those kids.
Right.
Because first of all, the girl, most men who know her are going to want to go for her because they think, oh, she could be knowing what to do, or we could teach her one thing or two. At her age, she'll just be going to be used as a sexual toy, if I'm being really, really honest. Then you as a parent, everyone would know how failed a parent you are, even if those parents were really trying or being there or whatever. Already with that video, they have
Right. Yeah.
they have failed as parents. What more can you do to a child rather than protecting them from having immature sex, and leave alone them having it in a video? You get it?
Well,
I just
well,
I
in
just
that
don't.
video, one of the problem I have.
So that means these kids, or most likely the girl has watched somebody, or somebody has done it to her. So she's trying to teach the boys, or trying to engage the little boys in it.
Yeah, that's the point. That's why I say you're looking at that video. I
Or
was,
if we are putting it in the terms of UK here, they would say an adult put them up to it to record it because they are pedophiles. So, we can't. I just don't know, but I think parenting is a very difficult subject
right
to
before,
to
yeah. Let
even
me
start
add. Let me
discussing.
let me add something here. Yeah. Well, if you, I be honest with you, if you look the video is show, if you know the history of these kids,
Yeah.
from the girl to the little boys there,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be very surprised that it's experience is what this girl, because the girl is older than the boys.
Yeah.
With the video I saw, you were surprised that this very girl has been subject to this kind of, she has seen it.
Yeah, she has been
Somebody has
abused.
done it to her.
Definitely, she's
Somebody
been
taught her
abused.
that you can bring a child or a little boy and you can do it. Number two, these other two boys, yeah, how related are they to this girl? Can it be a homeless home where kids and children are all packed up with that part? Because every
No, it
parent,
didn't look like a place where kids are all
yeah,
packed. It looked like
yeah,
a decent home
a decent
to
home,
me.
but
What I'm thinking is that, when you're growing up in Africa where they bring cousins, they bring whatever, it could even be a brother, but she doesn't know the fact that you can't do it with a brother, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
She just knows that someone did it to her, and she thinks
it's
it's some
normal.
sort of a game. She can do it with these other kids as well.
Or her parents have been a mess up, and then they have
She
seen,
could
she
have
has seen
she
them
could
doing
have seen it from the housemaid
yeah,
help, or maybe the mother is a single mother, brings in different men every night. You don't know, she sees it.
yeah. That's what I say. You look at the history, it could be that. Then she said, "I can do it to any other little child." And the young boy,
We saw it in Mr. Gray.
yeah,
What's that title? Fifth. What
the
is it?
fifth grade of
Whatever that title is.
mm,
But it is the same thing, because that guy, he grew up an auntie or somebody who
50 Shades of Grey.
yeah, who knew his mother,
Mm-hmm.
a friend to his mother,
Yeah,
taught him how to have sex.
yeah,
And that's the only way he knew how to do it. He was a young boy, somebody subjected him to doing it, and that's the only way he knew how to do it. And so he did it to other younger women. So I'm thinking it's something that she has been abused, and then now she thinks maybe that's the way of life,
yeah.
and she doesn't have a parent to
To
tell
let
her
tell her the
otherwise.
consequence of
So
that.
she's also doing it, and it's going to go on and on. That's already the generation we are raising. I just think parents should be more keen on what's day to day of their kids' life, who their kids play with. We what can I say, in you in okay, abroad here is different, because kids just do not go to play anyhow. And then our biggest risk is internet, because our kids are exposed to the internet all the time. But I don't think we have so much worry on who our kids are playing with and who they are interacting with, because we are almost always with them, unless when they go to school.
Well,
We're
yeah,
at school, back with us. School, back with us. And when they are home, we're always with them. So I'm not worried about housemates influencing, because we don't have housemates or house helps. But the problem is, I'm thinking there's a lot of people influencing kids' lives in Uganda in the absence of parents.
I think yeah,
And we also have the thing of communal upbringing, whereby everyone has, how kids call uncle, auntie, and all that.
right.
Yeah, so it could be somebody well trusted in a family who could do that for a kid. You get it? And most especially it is somebody a kid trusts.
Well, I think that's a very reasonable point there because in Africa, it's a different story from Europe. When you're in Europe, kids in Europe or abroad are well informed. If you can see in most European schools now, at the age of 9, 10, 11, they have already taught them
And
the
outspoken.
outspoken and
Yeah.
the knowledge of how to sex education. They tell them this is what
The
this and
impact.
the consequence.
Mm.
So they tell them if you want to put your life in trouble for life, no kid wants to be in trouble. Any child you have, you want to be in trouble, you say no, 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 no. So they lecture them that to avoid that, this is what you must do. So the European system is different from Africa. Africa, nobody, the only way to bring off a child in Africa is through reasonable parenting, like you mentioned. You have to, if you are a mother, if you know your daughter when it starts to be age of 10, 11, 12, once they're 12, yeah, they are capable of having child. If you're a wonderful, good parent, you must sit your daughter down. Tell her the consequence of what. Because you may not go to school with her. She will go to her friend's place. She will see things. The internet, you need to be able to spend time and lecture her. The boy, tell the boy the same story. Both of them have to have the knowledge. Look, this is dangerous. You can't do that. Tell him the consequence of it. So when they have that printed in their head, they won't go for it. That's why like I rightly earlier said that you as a parent, Bible say, bring up the child the way he or she should go. You are the one to do it, the job yourself. No matter how much you are busy from one job to another, even 1 hour a day is enough for you to give your child something that she or he will learn from you. And those dangers of life, you need to put them in front of them. They know they are going to avoid danger. Every child run away from danger. So if you put the danger in front of them of whatever they are doing, it's printed there. No matter what they do, they remember it. So as an African parent, I advise you to spend at least, even if it's 1 hour, it doesn't cost you. You go to the bar, you go to club, you go to wherever you do that, you waste all that time. Those time can be such a wonderful time to spend with your child, to teach them, lecture them, bring them up the way you want them to be. And I promise you, they won't depart from your lesson. So it's a wonderful subject. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your discussion.